action for another day of the week. Welcome to the Mega Monday Night Football edition of Chasing That Paper, presented by VegasInsider.com. And this is Victory Monday, where we celebrate the 2-0 Miami Dolphins. How about that victory? A little bit more on that later in the program. Now, before I bring in for my co-host for the day, Iain MacMillan, let me ask you guys to show this guy a little bit of compassion. He confided in producer Tito and I, a little bit of a secret, but we don't keep secrets around here at Chasing That Paper. Now, Ian made the mistake of opening up a joint bank account with his girlfriend, and she discovered that $5,000 was missing one day. Ian had no choice but to confess that he spent that $5,000 on an MVP bet for Matt Ryan, and she saw how Matt Ryan performed yesterday. As a result of that, Ian is renting a bed at the Brooklyn YMCA. So he's in the doghouse. He's going to be out $5,000. Let's bring him on here. Ian from BetSided. How's it going, buddy?
Yeah, you pretty much nailed it, Joe. It's been a rough start of the season for me in several different fashions. Obviously, we're going to talk about the Colts a little bit later, I think. But, yeah, rough Sunday for me. The season has not gotten off to a good start for your boy. But, hey, the good news is, Joe, there was a lot of football left to be played. So I'm trying to stay optimistic. Maybe I can win that $5,000 back somewhere.
Yeah, I am down on the week. I'm not down big time, but I am emotionally down because the Cincinnati Bengals, 2 weeks in a row now, I put them on a teaser and they lose it on the final play of the game. The asshole parlay also lost because of the Colts, but I had a lot of luck with the greasy money line parlay. The 3 college legs on that one by a combined 5 points. So congrats to all who tailed on that one. I don't know if we deserve to win another one all season, but we will take the W. Okay, so 2 Monday Night Football games to get to tonight. Ian, let's get right into the action. Hit lead off for us. What do you like here in this Bills-Titans game?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bills to cover the spread here in this one. Big spread. I got it at 9.5 earlier in the week. It's up to 10. I still like it at that number. A big reason why is because this Titans offense is one-dimensional. You get rid of A.J. Brown in the offseason. Now, their entire offense starts and ends with Derrick Henry. A little bit more on Derrick Henry in a little bit. But if you're going to do that and rely on your running game to win you some games, you got to play good defense. And they have not, at least in the opening week of the season, allowed the old lowly, although I will say 2-0 New York Giants, 6.8 yards per play in their week 1 matchup. If you're going to allow the Giants to get 6.8 yards per play, it's probably not going to go so well against Josh Allen and this Bills offense. Speaking of the Bills offense and the Bills in general, it's been almost 2 weeks since we've seen this team play. Usually you'd say a mini bye week if they play Thursday Night Football, but if you go from Thursday Night Football 1 week to Monday Night Football, it's like a double mini bye week. Not quite a full bye week, but they've been off for quite some time. They're rested up. A lot of time to game plan. I think they come out firing tonight. I think they win tonight's game big. And by the time the second half starts, I think we'll already be looking at the Eagles and Vikings. So I think this game's going to be pretty much in the books.
Yeah, teams in that spot with extra rest early in the season, traditionally pretty profitable. So we'll hope Ian's right on that one. I hope he's right. I have the Bills on a teaser. My favorite prop for this game, I thought this number would be a lot higher. I'm going to take Josh Allen to go over his rushing yard total of 39.5 yards, coming in at -120. So he's easily topped this number in 6 straight games now. 10 rushes for 56 yards in the season opener. He's had double-digit carries in 4 of his last 6. And he's had a double-digit yard carry in 11 straight games. So big chunks of yards on the ground for Josh Allen. And this is still well below his season average from last season. He averaged 47.2, including the playoff games. And pressure will force him to improvise in this game. Some design runs, absolutely. Plus, we'll see some creativity from him on the grounds. Titans brought the heat in week 1. They created a very high pressure percentage versus the Giants there. So, Allen, expect him to be on the move. Ian, you have a rushing prop that you like for this game. What do you want?
Yeah, I said we were going to talk about Derrick Henry a little bit more later in the show. Well, that time is now, because I'm going to take Derrick Henry under 87.5 rushing yards tonight. I've been preaching all offseason that we are going to see some major regression from the Titans running back. We saw it a little bit last year. He only averaged 4.3 yards per carry. Also dealt with injuries all season. Well, in week 1, I was proven correct, at least in the first game. He averaged just 3.9 yards per carry against the New York Giants. That's not good because now they're going to go up against an even better run defense in the Bills, who allowed the Rams to average just 2.9 carries or yards per carry. Who allowed the Rams to allow just 2.9 yards per carry in the opening game. And also, this is going to be a little bit of a negative game script, I think, for the Titans because the Bills are favored by so much. If the Bills get up early, Titans are going to have to look to their pass attack to try to play catch-up, which means fewer carries for Derrick Henry. I am frankly shocked that his rushing yards total is still set at this high of a number. I'll take the under, and I will continue to fade Derrick Henry until further notice.
Yes, sir. Ian, anti-Titans this evening. Okay, we move on to the second of 2 Monday Night Football games in a big rushing prop program. Today, I'm going to take Jalen Hurts to go over his rushing yard total of 50.5 yards, coming in at -120. So I don't think he's going to have this many rushing attempts in this game, but he had 17 rush attempts in week 1 of the season. He's taking off the first chance he gets, obviously a very big part of his game. Now, he's topped this number in 8 of his last 11 games, often big chunk runs on the ground here for Hurts. Plenty of rushes of 20-plus yards last season, and pressure will force him out of the pocket. 4 sacks for Minnesota in week 1. They brought the heat versus the Packers. That will force him to get creative. It will force him out of the pocket and hopefully force him to go over that 50.5 rushing yards. Ian, you like a side in this one. Well, who are you on?
Yeah, I think the wrong team is favored in the second leg of tonight's doubleheader. So I'm going to take the Vikings on the money line here tonight against the Eagles. If you just look at their week 1 matchup, the Vikings much more impressive than the Eagles. Yes, they both won, but specifically the Vikings defense much better, allowed the Packers to gain fewer yards per play than the Eagles allowed the Lions to get. And also, speaking about yards per play, the Vikings offense, very impressive against the Packers defense, 6.5 yards per play. It's been talked about all offseason, but and on the show we have been hyping up the Vikings. It came true in week 1. Kevin O'Connell's offense is looking very good with his Vikings team, and Justin Jefferson already proving to be arguably the best receiver in the NFL this season in the early going here. And a big red flag I have for the Eagles tonight is their run defense from week 1. They let the Lions get 6.5 yards per carry. The Lions ran all over them. So I don't have this pick out for this show, but you might want to target maybe Dalvin Cook prop bets tonight because the Philadelphia Eagles run defense doesn't get any sharper than the Vikings are going to be able to run all over them. They might not even need to rely on their pass attack. So I'm going to take the Vikings to win outright tonight as small underdogs.
There you go. Nice underdog look there for Ian. I also have the Vikings on a 6-point teaser. I paired them with the Buffalo Bills tonight. So we'll hope that the Vikings can keep it close and pick up a W. Okay, from the football field to the baseball field, slim pickings in terms of player props, which is all that I am betting on until the playoffs get here. A little bit juicy on this one, but I think it's an absolute steal. Jacob Junis of the San Francisco Giants, over 3.5 strikeouts, coming in at -165. So check out this breakdown. He has pretty good numbers versus good competition here lately. He's topped this in recent matchups versus the Braves, Phillies, and Dodgers. He's had at least 4 strikeouts in 7 of his last 9 overall, and he had a 6 strikeout performance at Coors Field just back on August 21st. And this is a team he could take advantage of. A sky-high strikeout percentage for the Rockies versus right-handed pitching. 6th highest versus righties over the last month. Also, they're 29th in OPS versus righties in that span, so getting chased early is very unlikely for Junis here. And he's trying to make a strong final impression. Motivation can often come into question at this point in the season for teams who are out of it, but not for Junis here. He's nearing the end of a 1-year contract with San Francisco, so pretty good opportunity to pad his stats versus a bad team. Give me Junis over 3.5 strikeouts tonight in beautiful Colorado. So there you have it. 6 total picks from Ian and I. If you're looking for a book to either tail or maybe fade some of these picks, I recommend BetMGM. Kick off the new pro football season with the king of sportsbooks. Sign up with BetMGM using bonus code VIBONUS, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. That's VIBONUS. All one word, no spaces, and your first wager is risk-free up to $8,000. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 or older. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Yeah. By the way, Ian, I still haven't heard back from Jamie Foxx yet. We're trying to get him on the program to break down some of his favorite lines, some of his favorite looks over at BetMGM. So if we hear back from Jamie Foxx, we will let you guys know. Okay, so now it is time to revisit some of what we saw yesterday in the NFL. And obviously, the biggest story of the day, I talk about this team all the time, is my Miami Dolphins. Quite literally one of the best comebacks in the history of the NFL, at least as far as regular season play is concerned. So validation for Tua a little bit. Let's pump the brakes a little bit here, Dolphins Nation. I'm seeing a lot of people taking victory laps on Twitter yesterday and today. People going on TV. I know producer Tito is a fellow Dolphins fan. He's very excited. But in the grand scheme of things here, guys, just one game. However, pretty promising result here. And that was Alabama Tua. That was the guy that the Dolphins envisioned when they drafted him. And it's pretty funny how things work in the NFL. If you surround a quarterback with shit, you're going to get shit. See Justin Fields out there in Chicago for the Bears. Meanwhile, you surround a young quarterback with some good playmakers, an improved offensive line, an improved run game, improved offensive coaching, and you're going to get better production. That's not a coincidence, God damn it. So some pretty good numbers for Tua so far this season. He leads the NFL in passing yards, passing touchdowns, completing passes at over 70%. But that comeback on the road, that really showed us something. This team, not a bunch of front runners. They really showed us something. And check out how significant this comeback was via Jeff Darlington over at ESPN, a tweet he put out yesterday. How wild was Miami's comeback? It's the first time in 12 years that a team has come back from a 21-point deficit in the fourth quarter. From 2011 to 2022, teams trailing by 21 points in the fourth quarter had a record of 0-711. So that's literally one of the best comebacks in the history of the NFL. So for at least 1 week, you can shut up the doubters. But like I said, a long way to go. You know, it was nice to see Tyreek Hill go off for 190 after everybody mocked 2-0 when he got traded there, saying the production wouldn't be the same. Hey, he aired it out. Tua, he did underthrow Tyreek, though, on one of his 6 touchdown passes, though, to be completely fair. So, Ian, how you feeling about the Miami Dolphins now off to a 2-0 start? Mike McDaniel, what a start to his coaching career. 2-0 versus Belichick and Harbaugh. That's pretty good. Now, I know you weren't too high on this team coming into this season. Has your opinion changed on my Miami Dolphins?
Well, first of all, I'm shocked the Falcons haven't blown as big of a lead as the Ravens did there. That's pretty shocking in my opinion. But yeah, I'm still not high on the Dolphins, Joe, to be completely honest. I think that was more a sign of the Ravens defense, which I'm not high on this year whatsoever. I've been preaching all offseason. I don't think the Ravens are quite as good as a lot of people are giving them credit for. So I don't know, Joe. We'll see. I think the Dolphins are still a borderline playoff team at best, but we will see truly how they match up against the best of the best next week, because now they've got to take on the Bills, who they have historically not done well against. So Bills probably going to win by 1 million next week is my prediction. I think this is a big sell high spot on the Dolphins.
Okay, we'll put Ian in the hater category. And to be completely fair, though, the Bills have absolutely had Miami's number over the past couple seasons, so we'll see how they can do with another big test. That was a pretty big test, so on the road as an underdog versus Lamar Jackson. You can criticize that defense all you want, but very impressive stuff. So let's take a look at which team we think is off to the most disgraceful start of the season here, Ian. A few pretty good candidates here. The Colts, who burned me a number of ways yesterday, off to an 0-1-1 start. You got shut out in Jacksonville? For God's sakes, I don't care how many injuries you have. You got shut out by the Jaguars, so they're a pretty good candidate. I think the Raiders deserve some consideration here. Josh McDaniel not up to a good start, completely choked that one away versus the Cardinals. The Broncos deserve some consideration. They haven't scored yet in the red zone this season, just absolutely brutal for them. But the team I'm going to go with is the Cincinnati Bengals. And I have an axe to grind with them. They've cost me a teaser leg 2 weeks in a row now. But they've had the entire offseason to listen to this Super Bowl hangover narrative, and this is how they come out of the blocks. 0-2, about a touchdown favorite in each of those games. 0-2 versus Trubisky and Cooper Rush. That offensive line was supposed to have been making big improvements. That is not the case. We've seen Joe Burrow get sacked 13 times, and let's not pretend that he was any good in week 1. Threw 4 interceptions in that game. He's holding the ball for way too long. How about designing a couple plays to get the ball a little bit quicker there? Zach Taylor, who is absolutely one of the most overrated coaches in all of the NFL right now. So that's a disgraceful start for the Cincinnati Bengals, the team who I picked to go on to win the Super Bowl this season. Not looking pretty good, not so good at all here so far. Ian, who is off to the most disgraceful start in the NFL this season?
Yeah, Joe, you talked about your Super Bowl pick, the Bengals. Well, then I'll just go with my Super Bowl pick, the Indianapolis Colts, who should have been able to waltz to a 2-0 start, and they're now 0-1-1. And you mentioned what a disgraceful loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not only the Colts as a team disgust me so far this season, but my baby boy, Matt Ryan, is making me look very stupid. I preached all offseason about how he was a dark horse MVP candidate. Yesterday's stat line against the Jaguars, 16 for 30, 195 yards, 3 interceptions against the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's not good. I know they have a lot of injuries, but I don't think they can kind of point to that as an excuse. So they are making me look very stupid. I'm disgusted by them, but I'll tell you right now, I will back them once again against the Kansas City Chiefs this week. So I am prepared to go down with the Indianapolis Colts ship this season, and so far that's looking like what's going to happen.
I think that the Colts absolutely stink, Ian, and I will be on the Kansas City Chiefs most likely on a teaser here for week 3 coming off that extra rest here. They had a couple of injuries, sure, but you didn't score one goddamn point versus a Jacksonville team that got torn to shit by Carson Wentz in week 1. That's an absolute and total disgrace. You know, I don't see a whole lot of anything special on the Colts except for the running back, Jonathan Taylor. And speaking of overrated coaches, I talked about Zach Taylor. Frank Wright. This is how you come out of the blocks after that week 18 loss in Jacksonville last week? That's absolutely pathetic if you ask me. So the Colts, if they were in any other division in football, they would be in a lot of trouble right now. But considering they're probably in the worst division in football, they can get right back into things here, but it won't start versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, if you love what we do here at VegasInsider.com, you're going to want to check out the brand new Vegas Insider app. We've got up-to-date, easy-to-navigate odds for every major sport. We have all our latest shows, best bet videos, and podcasts, props, trends, futures, news, all on the Vegas Insider app. Download the Vegas Insider app right now on Apple and Android. Bet better with the Vegas Insider app. Okay, now it is time for the viewer pick segment of the show. Picks from the CTP crew. These guys are giving us some winners here. You're going to want to check out the thread I put out each morning on Twitter. Sean Mitchelson, I recognize this guy. He's given us a couple of winners here so far. And today, Sean likes the Mets' first 5 money line. Scherzer coming off the DL to face Corbin Burns. Pretty nice pitching matchup there. Burns hasn't been good, though, lately. A 5.34 ERA in his last 30. Mets 6 runs in the first 5. Mets' best first 5 record in baseball, and they have Scherzer on the mound. Ian, any thoughts on that game? Pretty nice pitching matchup there.
No thoughts. Sean Mitchelson, though, he always brings it. He loves the first 5 inning bets, so I'll trust him. I'll tail him on this one.
Burns under 6.5 strikeouts almost made the cut for me. Now, this guy's been on fire for us here. Nick's Picks. I think he's given us 2 winners here, 2 straight. And he's got a bunch of stats here. I'm not going to read them all off here, but he likes the Rockies plus 1.5. They're at home, minus 140 versus the Giants. The key one there, Colorado, 32-17 as a plus 1.5 run line home dog. So if you want to rip through those stats, I invite you to do that. But not a bad look there. The Giants aren't that good of a team, and you get the Rockies at home. Not a bad spot there for Nick. And is that it, Tito? I think so. Yeah, everyone's all hungover and stuff from. Go ahead.
I was just going to say about that last one. Chad Kuhl somehow has a much better ERA at home this season than on the road, which you don't see too often with Rockies pitchers.
Wouldn't that completely suck if you're like the top high school pitcher in America and you get drafted to the Colorado Rockies? You'd be like, my career's completely fucked. This is going to cost me hundreds of millions of dollars. You see these guys get locked into deals. Who's the last big-time pitcher the Rockies had? I remember they made a couple signings back in the day, but no one wants to go there. They'd rather play for the Pirates, for God's sakes. No big time. And this is a team that spends a little bit of money every now and then, right? They can't attract pitchers. That's where your stats go to absolutely die. Okay, we will wish those guys best of luck with their picks. CTP crew. If you want to be involved in that segment, I put out that tweet every single morning. Make sure you give your best bet breakdown, not just your best bet. We want reasons to back up those bets. So that's it, Ian. 20 minutes in and out. It's not quite a Monday Night Football doubleheader. I wish they were doing it like that, but that's not the case. It's going to be a 2-screen experience type of night. But before we let you guys go here, producer Tito is reminding me that it is time for today's Handicapper Heat Check presented by VegasInsider.com. Your home for the best expert picks in the business since 1997. Today we recognize Steven Nover, who can be found on Twitter at StevenNover1. Steven had a perfect 6-0 NFL Sunday to take over the top spot on the NFL leaderboard. He has 20-7, 74% overall in the season, doing much better than me. Don't miss Steven's Monday Night Football side winner by visiting VegasInsider.com/picks or clicking his promo on the Vegas Insider homepage. That's your Vegas. That's your Handicapper Heat Check. Stay hot. Betters. Here we go. Steven Nover on absolute fire. So, yeah, Ian and I are going to look to end week 2 on a positive note here. Ian, what do you have coming up over at BetSided?
Yeah, daily bet slip today, 5 p.m. Eastern. Be sure to tune in for that. I'll have Jeff Feinberg on as my guest. We'll not only be talking about Monday Night Football games tonight, but also President's Cup this week, Joe. I know you're a big golf fan, and big Tony Finau fan. I hope you cheer against Tony Finau this week, though. They're going out Team America, Team USA going up against Team International, which includes our great country of Canada. So check that out, Daily Bet Slip, 5 p.m. Eastern. Follow BetSided on Twitter as well.
The USA is A-OK with me, Ian, but in this instance, I'll have to go. Who's playing representing Canada? Corey Connors out there?
Corey Connors is, Taylor Pendrith is, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think we just got
Taylor Pendrith. That's not a name I expect to hear on today's episode of Chasing That Paper. Yeah. But a lot coming up here at Vegas Insider, of course, Down to the Wire with Kevin Rogers, 6 p.m. Eastern right here on the Vegas Insider YouTube page. You're going to want to check out our Vegas Spaces for the 2 Vegas Insider Spaces for the 2 Monday Night Football games tonight on Twitter. Make sure you're following Vegas Insider on Twitter. Get some interesting insights from some of the personalities here at Vegas Insider. I will be back tomorrow, a big MLB day. Get back into some of those walk props that have been hitting pretty good for us here lately. So good luck with your bets tonight, unless you are fading us. And as always, keep chasing that paper. Whoop!